Hello my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all of the new features that landed in the last two releases of Komorebi, the tiling window manager for Windows, which is written in the Rust programming language. Now, I will start by conceding that I know this video is very long overdue. That is why we are covering the features from two releases rather than one release as we usually do. My excuse is that I got severely sidetracked playing the Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and I'm pretty sure I was not the only one whose life got completely sidetracked by that. I actually did an entire Let's Play of the DLC, which is up on the GZ Plays YouTube channel if you want to see what I was doing instead of working on Komorebi. So let's get into it. There were two releases, so the current version now is 0.1.28. We are going to start at looking at what landed in 0.1.27. So I've made a little list here on my phone of the big ticket items. And I think the one that a lot of you may have seen, like a lot of people have been sharing rices on the internet. The first thing is transparency. And so you can see here, I have just popped off one of the windows on my stack. And you can see here, it is a little bit transparent, translucent. Perhaps might be a better word. But now we have these configuration options, transparency and transparency alpha. The alpha value is anything between 0 and 255, so I believe this is like if you go lower it will be more transparent, right? And if you go higher, I think mine was 240. Yeah, it'll be more opaque. So I like to have it a little bit more opaque. And transparency in Komorebi is another way to let you know which is the currently focused window, right? So the window that is not focused, or the windows that are not focused, will be the ones which have transparency. So I just clicked here onto Firefox. This became a little bit transparent. I click back here onto VS Code. This becomes a little bit more transparent, while this becomes completely opaque. Very cool. I like this one a lot. I know a lot of people are they're like iffy on transparency. They have bad experiences with transparency. I think like if you so the default value here is 200. Which for my personal taste, actually, like this is too transparent. But I think like 240, it gives you the nice aesthetics, and it's also a useful visual cue to help you navigate what is going on in your workspace. Next up, what do we have? We have stacking in directions. So the way this worked previously was that I have a stack here on the right with Windows Terminal here and with Visual Studio Code here. And if I wanted to add another window onto this stack, I would have to navigate to that window. So I've just gone to the left, and then I would have had to stack in the direction of this stack, so stack to the right. But now what you can do is if you are already on a stack, you already have a stack focused, you can stack in the direction of the window that you wish to add onto that stack. So I'm gonna hit Alt and left now, which is my shortcut for stack to the left. And you can see that that window that was on the left has been added to the top of the stack. It's just a little thing, but I feel like it makes a huge difference. I don't know. Let me know if this changes everything for you. It's probably not going to change everything, but I think it is definitely a bit more ergonomic. Still in the area of stacking, we now have commands to stack all and unstack all windows on a workspace. So I don't have this bound to a shortcut because I don't use it that much. But if you have all of your windows on a workspace in a single stack, you can run Komorebi C unstack all, and everything will be unstacked. And you can also stack all of the windows at once by running Komorebi C stack all. If you think these are useful commands, you can add them to your hotkey configuration. Like I say, I have not really found a use for them, but I know that there are a couple of diehard fans of this, so have at it. I hope you enjoy it. Where shall we look next? Yeah, let's take a look at one of the config changes that we made. It's not actually a config change, it's a schema change. And it adds metadata to the schema, which allows you to do this. I don't even know what to call this, like hex colored strings, annotations. I don't know, basically you add an annotation in the JSON schema, which is automatically generated in the context of Komorebi. And now when you hover over any of these hex strings in like your border colors or your stack bar configuration, you're going to get this nice little pop-up, which will show you the color and also let you drag this around. So if you're someone who is I'm very rarely changing the colors on my configuration, by the way. I just pick one color and I stick with it forever. But if you are really into ricing and changing all the colors to match your never-ending rotation of background wallpapers, this one is for you. We have also added, just in the same area as ricing, some more stack bar configuration options. So you may have noticed that I have this very nice font up here at the top now in my stack bar. This is actually my all-time favorite font, right? It is JetBrains Mono. I love this font family. So now in the stack bar tabs configuration, you can add a font family and a font size. So we can make this a little bit smaller. I wouldn't go that small. I think 34 is a nice font size. Yeah, try that out. I'd be interested to see which fonts people like to use for the stack bar. I didn't really like the default font that much, but I didn't realize how much I wanted a different font until I saw how JetBrains Mono looked up here. I think it looks really good. Let me know if you would suggest trying another font as well. Be happy to try that out. Next up, Workspace rules. So we have a whole bunch of new commands related to Workspace rules. So Workspace rules. So we now have clear Workspace rules, which will remove all application association rules for a workspace by monitor and workspace index. So this is clearing all the rules on a specific workspace. You have a similar command for named workspaces, where instead of passing the monitor and the workspace index, you can just pass the workspace name. And you can also... The fuzzy search is a bit too fuzzy. All workspace rules. There's one to clear all workspace rules, this one. Clear all workspace rules, which removes all application association rules for all workspaces. This is useful if like you're playing around and like you're adding stuff here, but you realize, oh, you know what, I didn't want that It's a nice, quick, easy way for you to reset the global rules without having to worry about like restarting the whole process or something like that. Another under the hood change. So there are two things. One is that we now have nightly builds, and two is that with more people using nightly builds, we need better version information. So first of all, we now have nightly releases, Komorebi nightly, and they're not actually nightly, they're released once a week. I believe they get released on a Saturday, Sunday, and you can do winget info gz komorebi.nightly. Oh, not info, it's show. And that is us, that is our package. So you can keep installing the nightlies from winget now. But as I say, people are going to be using this more and more, I imagine, to have access to the latest features. But of course, you're all going to be reporting bugs, right? And that's why the Komorebi C version command now, it's going to give a whole bunch more information. Like, maybe this isn't super exciting for all of you. It's very exciting for me. It makes my life a lot easier. So now it tells you the version number, the branch that it was built from, the exact commit hash, the build time, and the build environment. So if, for example, you're building something from source, it could happen that there is a bug that is related to the toolchain that you're using. Like if you're using a nightly toolchain that introduces some change that breaks something, that's really useful for me to know. Because yeah, these are the rabbit holes that I end up going down. So it's really nice to be able to have even more exact version information. Next up, borders part 2. So we are now able to change our border implementation. And so you can set this statically here. So you can have either the Windows border implementation or the Komorebi border implementation. And there are commands here as well in Komorebi C if you want to bind these for whatever reason. So you can set the style here. And so depending on how big your screen is right now and how zoomed in you are to the video, you may or may not be able to see this. Here we are. So you still have the same border colors, but you just get the really, really thin, super duper thin window borders. Some people really like this. I'm not a huge fan, but the upside is that this is deeply integrated with the window. Like these borders, when you move them, they are a part of the window, which makes moving them very, very smooth, right? So I'm just going to switch this back to Komorebi, and just to do a comparison, you can see that moving this around is not as smooth, and that's because each border is actually its own independent window, and Komorebi is telling this border window to track the window that it is associated with. So it's never going to be as seamless, as smooth as something that is directly integrated with each application window. But that's the trade-off, right? Like you are able to set a border width, a border offset, all of this custom stuff. But the trade-off is that it's not as closely integrated as the Windows implementation. But yeah, like for me on the screen that I have at 225% DPI, it was very hard to see that tiny border. I don't think I will be using it anytime soon. But if you're on a smaller screen, if you're on a laptop, if you just like the super duper thin borders, this one is for you, and I highly, highly recommend you do use it because it does work pretty well if you can see it. The last thing that I want to talk about, I know a lot of you have probably already seen this, but it has been a very long time coming. We now have window animations in Komorebi. So here's the configuration block for animations. You can set the animation duration. There are a whole bunch of styles that you can try out, and you can set the FPS. It defaults to 60. You can go up to whatever you want. The trade-off is more FPS equals more CPU cycles consumed, so don't go crazy. Honestly, I think 60 FPS is more than enough. I only set it to 120 personally because that's the refresh rate of my monitor. So let's try this out. I'm sure you've all already seen this, but I'm very excited to be. Ooh, did you see that? To be showing it for the first time. Ooh, did you see that? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. So yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there. I am very happy to see this feature make it to a mainline release. We do have a page here on the documentation website. It is important to remember that this feature is not considered stable, and you may encounter visual artifacts from time to time. Now, a lot of this comes down to the limitations of the Windows compositor, which is not open in any way, shape, or form. Like, that's not on me. We're doing the best we can with the public Win32 API surface, and I think that we have done incredibly well. And I do want to give credit where credit is due. Maybe I have like the biggest commit message for this add window animations. So this PR goes back to November 2023. Like, it has been iterated on. Just imagine all of the changes in the code base between November 2023 and now. We're almost in August. We're in the end of July, more or less. Yeah, so let's open both of these up. So this was the original PR, and yeah, the Arturka came up with like this demo. Like, this was crazy, right? Like, I never imagined we could do something like this. Like, this is where it started from, and I just can't believe where we have gotten to with this. We had a whole bunch of bugs. We chased those down. I'm sure there are still some more bugs. It was very difficult to keep all of this in sync with all of the changes that were going on. This is the most amazed that I have been at something in this project. Like, nothing has amazed me in this project more than the implementation of this feature. Yeah, I mean, that's just crazy. Did you ever think you'd be seeing that on freaking Windows? Like, I never imagined when I started this project that we would get a tiling window manager on Windows, right? I didn't think that I would be able to create anything good enough to be downloaded 74,000 freaking times. That in and of itself is insane. But like, to have this level of stability and maturity in the project to be able to tackle really, really tricky features like this one, it's amazing, yeah, it's really amazing. And so I'm very happy with this. Yeah, that is the rundown of these two releases. So you can install the latest version, 0.1.28 Rafa, which is on Scoop and WinGet. You can also build it from source. You can also download the MSI installer. You can download the precompiled binaries. There is a way to get this for everybody. And yeah, check it out. Let us know what you think. We are very active on the Discord. 243 people online right now, but we actually have more than 1,000 people in our Discord right now. And there are a lot of people posting a lot of very interesting rices. A lot of people doing a lot of very interesting work on status bars. Do not think I've forgotten about the status bars. I have not. Status bars incoming soon. But yeah, that is where we are at today with Komorebi. I hope you enjoy using Komorebi. Now, what do we usually do at this part of the video? We usually head on over and say thank you to the sponsors, the lovely, lovely sponsors of this project. So I am gonna start from the right. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Thomas. Timothy, private sponsor number 1. Azine. Azine has so much patience, by the way. There was this, I didn't mention this, but like there was a very, very niche bug that impacted a very certain configuration of VDIs, and Azine was hit by this, and he spent a lot of time helping me debug this because I couldn't reproduce it on, like I tried reproducing it on like Amazon Lightsail, on Hyper-V, I just couldn't reproduce it. But we were just going backwards and forwards, and finally we kind of remotely fixed it, so that fix is also in 0.1.28. But thank you, Azine, for remaining a sponsor, for having patience, and helping me fix that very, very annoying bug. Thank you also to my friend James, Pavel, EFL1P, private sponsor number 2, Nia, Harold, Sundance. There are a whole bunch of names that I do not know here. If you are a new sponsor and you haven't been shouted out in the previous videos, extra special shout out to you. Thank you, PJHFGGIJ, Hyro, DM1681, Darian, Kwong, Surefire, Solomon, private sponsor number 3, Kilroy, my boy. Thank you, Evan. I actually spoke to Evan on the Discord. Evan had an issue, and I was very happy to be able to solve Evan's issue. I was able to confirm from talking to Evan on Discord that Evan does in fact rock. Evan rocks. Thank you. Thank you to Quilt. Quilt, I believe, is a new sponsor. Welcome. Alex, and of course, the OG sponsor, the longest running sponsor of this project, my friend Hisayuki. Thank you all so very much for your ongoing support. It means so much to me. I tell you guys every time, it means so much to me. It means so much to me. You know, I never would have thought that people would be out here using and sponsoring software that I write. If you too would like to join the peoplehood of the sponsors, head on over to the sponsor page. You can be a one-time sponsor. You can be a monthly sponsor. Honestly, even if it's just $1 a month, it makes a huge difference to me. If, however, you are not in a position to become a sponsor, head on over. Actually, no, you're already there. You're already on the YouTube channel. Hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. We have 2,000 subscribers now. Absolutely insane. I don't know how, I don't know why, but thank you so much. It means a lot to me. We are a fully monetized channel on YouTube, which means that the channel gets a cut of any ad revenue from any ads that you watch for, like, you know, the 5 seconds before you're allowed to skip them. It's a really cool, easy, passive way for you to financially support the project. So if you are watching these videos, make sure you're subscribed and just do your thing, and it helps the project. What time are we on? 24 minutes, goddamn. All right, my friends, I think I have yapped for long enough. yeah, thanks for staying with me till the end of this yap sesh. I hope that whatever you all do today, you have a great day. Free Palestine, and I'll see you all back here next time.